The rain kept on pouring that night, I remember. We were just one big happy family coming back from the movie theater. Giggles and laughs, songs, and beautiful life filled the car. Drops of water splashed on the windshield as the wipers hastily threw them away. I loved them so much. They were my driving force, the light of my eyes, the moon of my nights, and the sun that filled my sky up and chased all the gray clouds away. The stars shining bright in the dark canvas of night. "Daddy, look out!" my daughter screamed. The skidding tires and the breaking glass broke the silence of the night. I woke up in the hospital all alone. This wasn't happening. Two faces I'd never see again. Two lives destroyed in the blink of an eye. I just couldn't avoid the other driver in time. I didn't see him soon enough. The guilt was crawling inside me like a parasite. I was left all alone. Grief and solitude became my sun and moon. The stars in my sky now bore infinite sadness. One moment of looking away was all it took. One tiny second that turned into an eternity of sorrow and despair. I have never recovered from this. All the years that followed found me looking down at the glass of whatever I was drinking. The nights were long, cold, and sad. There were mornings where I found myself in parks or near the lake, reeking of alcohol. The nights before were just a washed-out patch of darkness. My home smelled like a grave. The miasma of my rotting soul combined with the smell of booze and the choking smoke of cigarettes made me nauseous. I wondered if it would ever end. All this suffering, all this chaos that was nesting inside my head, its roots strongly connected to the fertile soil of my brain. An existence engulfed in darkness. How I wished for it all to go away. The sadness, the guilt, the despair that invaded my memory at night. Happiness was now an alien concept for me. I just wanted the guilt and grief out of my body. I started doing research online. First, on the visible part of the internet. I looked to see if there was a cure for guilt. If someone had invented a treatment for ending grief. I knew it was impossible, but that didn't stop me. When that didn't work, I tried going on the dark web. I found a marketplace page where they sold all kinds of medicine, pills, whatever you could think of. I typed in grief pills, more out of curiosity than actually hoping I'd find something genuine. Some miracle that would take it away forever. A chat box opened. "Hello, young man. I've got just the right thing for you. The one thing that will provide closure and end your hurt once and for all. You don't even have to pay any money for it. It should be on your doorstep any second now. Enjoy the journey," was all that the message said. A countdown started. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The screen suddenly turned black and I heard the doorbell ring. This made me more scared than I'd ever felt. I instantly felt like I shouldn't have gone to that place. I'd heard stories about things that happened there or the people that bought different products from the dark web. I went to the door to see who it was, only to find a small box wrapped like a present. I took it inside. Visibly shaking and sweat running down my temples, I just looked at it for a couple minutes. And then I finally decided to open it. Inside the small box, there were 3 pills filled with a thick crimson fluid. It resembled blood. There was also a small piece of paper at the very bottom of the box. I carefully took it out. The instructions said to take 1 pill every 24 hours, and do not exceed that dose under any circumstances. I laid the box aside for a moment. I don't know why or how, but the moment I put my fingers on those pills, A fear so great struck my soul as if a lightning bolt had just crashed to the ground. A storm was now raging deep inside me. I knew nothing good could come of me swallowing those pills. I just knew it. I soon found myself soaked in sweat. This fear that was now coursing through my veins was unlike anything I'd ever felt before. While changing into a new set of clothes, I asked myself, what would be better for me? To carry the burden of guilt my whole life, or to swallow those pills? I took the first one right away. Nothing happened for a whole day. Then the next one, still nothing. I prayed for something to happen after I took the last one. I waited for a few hours and finally gave up and turned to the bottle. Got drunk and went to sleep. I began having familiar nightmares about the night of the accident. Then, something woke me up. "Wake up, young man," the voice told me. I jumped out of bed and screamed when I saw the creature standing in the far corner of the room. Its head almost touched the ceiling, and it was slightly crouched. Its body was concealed under a hood of smoke, and its long arms stretched out until they touched the floor. Its nails were long and sharp. They made a violent noise when they touched each other, making a sound that resembled nails on a chalkboard. Two silvery lights were droning inside its eye sockets, making an electrical buzzing sound. "I'm here to lead you to them. That's all you wanted, yes? That's why you summoned me? To help you with your grief? You drank my blood, so here I am." Its voice was a strange, insect-like alien song. A dark horror bloomed inside my chest. Its flowers revealed a grotesque fear that was ripping and tearing through my soul as fast as a scythe rips through a field of grass. I thought I was hallucinating, or maybe very drunk. But no, he was as real as it got. The creature said its name was Somber, and he could take me to them. To my wife and daughter. I could tell them everything I wanted. Everything left unsaid. I could go and see them one last time. I have to warn you, though. The road will be dangerous, and unspeakable horrors wait for you there, Somber told me. Why would you want to help me? What could I possibly offer you that you don't already have? I asked, almost choking on my words. We'll talk about that later. So, do we have a deal? He asked. His words felt like wasps coming out of its chest, buzzing and droning. I nodded, tears rolling down my face. The sadness I was feeling, combined with this new level of intricate fear, was a whole new sensation to me. I didn't care about the cost. I only cared about seeing my wife and daughter one final time. The creature opened itself up, and I went through. Its split chest had teeth on both sides. The razor-sharp tips caressed my arms when I stepped through. Blood poured in tiny rivulets, a crimson map of rivers now decorating my arms. It swallowed me whole, and I felt carried away to another realm, to something timeless and spaceless. Elsewhere. I heard bones crunching and flesh squishing as Somber's chest pieced itself back together. See you on the other side, young man. I will get them out for you. Out from that place, he told me. I was in an alien place, floating around in the vast and endless space. There were millions of bright lights surrounding me, little white dots on the pitch-black canvas stretching before me. Moving forward, I noticed a strange, bright light that was growing bigger and bigger. It was a circular ball of purple light that pulsated and droned. I went through it as well, and then I arrived at my destination. Somber was there waiting for me. I arrived in front of a giant tree with a hollow in it, its roots sticking out of the black soil. The grass was green, drops of dew laying on it. There was no sun in the sky, yet it looked like a normal day. I asked the creature what this place was. "This is half of what your kind calls heaven. This is where every gentle soul, every innocent, every human person that never did anything wrong willingly comes after they pass away." Terror struck my heart. I asked myself if I was dead, if the creature had deceived me in presenting me with a gift that it knew I could never refuse. What if he dragged me to that place and killed me in the process? I felt my heart drumming inside my chest, a sensation of heat forming at my temples. Did I die? Was that the price I had to pay to see my wife and daughter again? And what about the other half of heaven? I asked, fear and curiosity blooming in my mind. "Hopefully, you'll never have to find out about that other part, or be there after you die. You are as alive as you were before. Don't worry," he replied. "Now, I need to extract your family from the clouds. That's where they are now." He got inside the tree hollow, and I was left all alone. At one point, when I looked up, I saw winged creatures in the sky. They seemed to be burning. They looked minuscule from where I was standing. I turned around and saw my wife and daughter coming out from the tree hollow. Tears began running down my cheeks as I heard both their voices calling out for me. Somber was just behind them. I hugged them both very hard. They both looked the same as they had that night. We talked for a few minutes, and I told them how much I missed them every single day. They didn't cry. "We'll always be here, Tom, waiting for you," my wife Layla said. "Yeah, Daddy, don't be sad. I love you very, very much. You can hug my teddy bear when you miss me, Daddy," Samantha said. My beautiful daughter. My meeting with them was cut short. A low, metallic whirring noise shook the sky. "Oh, I didn't see this coming. Please, go back in the tree hollow before he sees you," Somber told my family. They started to whimper in fear. They ran back inside the tree hollow and back to the good part of heaven. But I finally got to see my family again. One of the creatures circling the sky came down. The ground trembled when it landed. It had 6 wings, 4 of them concealing its body. The other 2 were used for flying. Its face resembled a human's face, although it was contorted and strange. It held a burning spear in its hand. It fixed its eyes on Somber. It let out a high-pitched scream that pierced through my heart like the horror you'd meet at the end of the world. I asked myself if that was an angel. Somber's right arm turned into a dark, chromium blade. They started to fight. Somber hit the angel first, damaging one of the flying wings. The angel retaliated and hit Somber's shoulder with the spear, tearing a small hole in it. They fought and fought for what seemed like an eternity. I just stood and watched in horror as blue blood started spraying out from the angel. Somber had cut the other flying wing now. He finally managed to kill the creature. A pool of dark liquid was spreading underneath the carcass. "Turn around, please. You do not want to see this," Somber instructed me. My face was probably white from the devastation I just witnessed. I did as I was told. I heard loud, squishing sounds. Somber was eating the dead angel, and his hunger was immense. A ravenous beast eating another monstrosity. It finally stopped. I turned around only to see bones and feathers tossed around. Somber ate with its chest and mouth. The spear was mere ashes now. I could see the heart of the obliterated angel through the remains. Somber picked it up and placed it inside his chest. "Now, I finally have a heart again. I am whole. I can feel again," he told me. He sobbed a little, and I watched in horror as I saw the heart was beating again. Surrounded by electric pink light, it filled Somber up with small, reddish bolts of lightning. "That was the price you had to pay. I was counting on getting one of the damn angels angry. I used your grief for my benefit. For that, I am sorry," he said. I felt angry and used, but fearful at the same time. Still, I felt like a whole burden was just taken off my shoulders. Guiltless and griefless. "The angel took those away from you. You are free of them now," Somber said, sighing. "Hey, I saw my family again. For that, I will be eternally grateful to you. No matter what," I said, my voice shaking. The horror of what I just witnessed infected my blood. A slit suddenly opened up behind me in the air. "And you will see them again after you die. No one knows about what you did here with me." His voice felt like a chainsaw tearing through my mind. He said I should go back home. He snapped his fingers, and I was instantly pulled into that slit. The void surrounded me on my way back home. I floated in eternal darkness like I had no weight. I was suddenly standing in my living room. The wounds from Somber's chest teeth were still fresh. I've seen so many things, and the horror of that will follow me for the rest of my life. I wondered if I would ever see Somber again. Maybe not in this life, but the next. What I do know is that my wife and daughter will always be watching over me. Last night, I fell asleep with a smile on my face, and with Samantha's teddy bear in my arms. There was a myriad of feelings and emotions flowing through my body. After the whole experience I'd been through, things had been pretty quiet. I'd ingested those miraculous pills, and my life had been changed forever. Plunged deep down into eternal new worlds and experiences, the fear I felt was almost glued to my soul. My family was safe, in a way, even though they weren't here with me. Every time I looked at the sky, I could imagine their faces in the clouds above, smiling, watching over me. At the very least, that journey provided me with closure, and it erased things I didn't want in me anymore. I remember the night was silent, dead silent. I woke up to the sound of something crashing into the wall of my bedroom. The whole house moved from the shock. I got scared for a second because I thought there was an earthquake going on, even though the area I lived in had never had one of those in its recorded history. I got out of bed to see Somber crouched in the corner. He was coughing and he looked hurt. He spat a thick, dark liquid that resembled hot tar. I imagined that was his blood. "Sorry to come unannounced like that. One of those angels is after me. It broke the laws and stepped into the bad part of heaven. He's hungry, vicious, and out for blood," Somber said. I watched in horror as his new heart seemed to malfunction. Or was it broken? Maybe it wasn't meant for him to have it. I wanted to have this again, but it seems impossible right now," he said while touching the surface of his chest, right over his heart. He reached inside, the squishing sound of tearing flesh flooding my whole being with an all too familiar feeling of horror and dread. The bolts of lightning that had illuminated his body simply turned off. He then looked just as he did when I first saw him. A sad, gloomy shadow made of smoke and darkness. I watched as he started eating the heart. Blood gushed onto the floor, staining it in patterns that resembled Rorschach tests. As he was ravenously biting and chewing, I noticed the heart was turning to coal. It withered away. Before Somber finished his feast, the heart showed tiny red cracks with strange lights shining through. It looked like it was about to burst, to explode. A divine bomb. A bright flash filled the room, and I heard Somber scream until there was nothing but silence left. I squeezed my eyes shut. Otherwise, I might have gone completely blind. It was like staring into the sun for far too long. I felt Somber's hand grabbing mine, and then I was floating. I didn't know if this was the place I'd been to before. I felt so calm, so worry-free. I couldn't even open my eyes for a single second. I remember landing on the hard, cold ground. Freezing wind swept through this new, unfamiliar place I found myself in. I opened my eyes and the horror unfolded before me. Statues of impossible creatures were decorating the wastelands. Their faces were contorted in fear. Some had wings, others were missing them. Or maybe they'd been ripped off from their bodies. "There's no time for that. It's coming," Somber said. The pain and fear in his voice was immense. I felt the same way. The sky was gloomy, desperate, and most of all, it reeked of death. The sun was just a black ball of tar hanging dull in the sickening canvas above. It dripped infinitely in the sickly sky. The droplets were carried away by the wind in a circular motion. There was a huge, hollow tunnel crossing the sky, small dots of light shining through from time to time. Giant frost icicles crashed to the ground. The sound they made was something that pierced my ears like a desperate scream of pain. Horror filled my soul as one of them landed right next to me. Turning around, I saw a creature reaching out for me through the ice. Its screams of frost were silenced immediately. The creature turned into a sculpture, into one of those statues. The scream remained trapped in time forever. This place was a home for the forgotten, a place of unrest for those torn apart, a graveyard of the discarded. Black snow started coming down from the sky. Everything was in reverse here. It was not even sad, this place. It was desperate, desolate, left to rot in the maddening decay of time. It had been forgotten by its creator. It was pushed aside, like a side project that had failed, like a toy that he'd gotten bored with. "This is the place? The bad half of heaven?" I asked. Yes, it is. My home. This is where they sent me after I wasn't good enough for them," Somber said, sighing. "This is the place for the discarded angels. The ones that were born with flaws and imperfections. The ones that failed. I am one of them." He continued and told me that their creator had cast them out. There were more creators, more gods. I was petrified. I looked at those stone statues again. Seeing their faces contorted with such an immense fear was mind-shattering. It made me ask myself what they must have been like before they'd become like this. "I've never seen any of them. I've never met them. I don't want to," he said, almost disgusted. But I could sense the pain in his body and mind. Most of all, I could sense the existential fear in his voice. "Come on. The eyes and the wheels are coming. They want to destroy me. They've been persecuting me since our first meeting. All because I wanted... No, because I needed what they don't cherish. A heart. A goddamn heart," Somber told me. We walked further in, and in front of us, a huge metallic structure took shape. The Dark Machine is what he called it. The discarded angels, lucky enough not to be turned to stone, were thrown directly into the Dark Machine through that tube that crossed the sky. There, they were destroyed in the blink of an eye. It seemed to breathe, almost like a living thing when it fed on those unfortunate enough to be sent there. A cloud of black smoke was coming out of a rusty chimney and went up into the sky. I couldn't even wrap my head around it. The faces of my daughter and wife came to mind. I prayed that they were all right. I prayed to whom? To those that made this abomination of a world? To those who treated their own like this? To those faceless and ruthless gods? The creators had sent them to a place of eternal suffering just because they weren't perfect. If they weren't perfect, they needed to suffer and die. To the dark machine, the angel destroyer, always hungry, always wanting death and destruction. All this new knowledge, not only did it change me forever, but it sent arrows of fear through my mind and soul. What were they really doing in there? In this place that was called the good part of heaven? But what about hell? Does it exist? I asked. Does hell exist, young man? Of course it does. It's buried down deep under the earth. It's changing every day. Just pray to whatever it is you're praying to that you never go there, Somber replied gravely. As we were approaching the dark machine, I saw a bluish fire in front of it. This. I'll show you later what this is for, Somber said. A trumpet sound broke the silence of the desolate, frozen, and depressed world of discarded angels. I looked in the sky and saw a ball of red fire. It tore through the gray skies and hastily approached us. The eyes and wheels are here. Please, hide behind the dark machine, Somber screamed. I'll end this once and for all. His voice was filled with the sound of a million chainsaws. I couldn't stop being afraid of him or his voice as much as I wanted to. His words came out like a swarm of locusts. The ball of fire landed right in front of Somber. The halo of orange light suddenly disappeared, and the horror unfolded in all its twisted perfection. A giant eye was attached to 3 large wheels. Its muscles and tendons were glued to it. The eye was bloodshot, enraged, ravenous, and insane. The wheels were spinning at high speed, and each of them had more eyes, smaller ones. They kept on looking here and there, scanning the area to and fro for enemies or immediate threats. The wheels were dripping a dark, disgusting liquid. It burned through the ground like acid. The eye suddenly opened its mouth. Metallic, sharp teeth became the only thing that shined in that place. It instantly spat out a ray of fire that tore a hole in Somber's chest. He screamed in pain. Black blood dripped on the ground. Then, for the first time since I saw him, he began morphing. He was changing into something more powerful. Long, sharp, metallic nails began surfacing from his body, steam coming out of them. They caused profound bleeding, but Somber held his ground. A crown of barbed wire appeared on his head. I was afraid he might lose this battle. He seemed to be at a big disadvantage. And if he got killed, what was I gonna do? Would I remain a prisoner forever in this depressing existential cage built for malfunctioning angels? I couldn't help but think to myself, if this is the way some angels are punished, then what would hell look like for mere mortals like us? I shivered in despair and horror. The nails launched from Somber's body and stung each and every little eye, thus stopping the wheels from moving. The eye screamed and began gushing out venom in all directions. Then it fell to the ground. It was now looking up at the sky, coughing and choking on its own poison. Look! Look at that, you bastard! This is where your gods send us to die. Why are we to blame for their mistakes? Why? 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 Somber screamed in agony, pointing up at the dark machine. The eye tried to look, but couldn't. Its voice probably shook even the good half of heaven. The anguish, disgust, and fear in his words were sent to my brain instantly. That idiot eye just looked at Somber. He wasn't understanding any of it. Not the hate, the facts, or the pain. It wasn't even afraid. The eye and the wheels just followed orders blindly. Somber took his crown of nails and pierced the eye with it. And again, until all that was left was a puddle of mucus, flesh, and atrophied muscles. The eye had its mouth open when it froze. It wasn't perfect anymore. Just another statue added to the collection of failures. Somber coughed again. I'm dying, he said. His voice was dying too. The buzzing in it lowered in volume. I asked him if I could help. I was visibly struck with horror, its sharp pins and needles piercing my mind. Take me to the blue flame, young man, he sighed. I helped him get there. We stopped in front of it. Blood was dripping from Somber's body, leaving a trail behind us. Just look how beautiful it burns. The only beautiful thing in this desolate, godforsaken place. I think this is it for me, he said, coughing black blood all over me. He apologized when he didn't need to. He put his hand through his chest. The vengeful angel that did that was no more, at least. I hope that maybe I could have had one of those hearts again. Maybe that would have made me more close to your kind. Although, I knew it was impossible to be like you humans. You see, I've always loved your race. You're so kind. You help each other. You love each other. Unlike my creators, he said, his voice breaking. Throw me into the fire. I looked in shock and disbelief. I shook my head at first, refusing. Then I realized this is what he wanted. I put him over the fire. As he was burning, he looked over at me. He smiled, flames engulfing his body. He seemed to feel no pain anymore. He was free, unattached. He was happy to be born again. The fire burned my hand as well, small blisters forming on my fingers. I didn't care about the pain, though. I only cared about giving Somber what he wanted. Another chance. I hope I'll remember you in the next life, young man. Maybe then my creators will love me too. Those were his final words to me, right before exploding into a million little white lights. That explosion sucked me in. I traveled through an unknown place. I felt like I was floating again, yet I couldn't open my eyes. I landed on the floor of my bedroom. Upon impact, all air left my lungs, and the fear and shock were still there, as were the blisters on my fingers. I stood speechless until morning came. I still think about my wife and daughter always. The way they smiled, the way in which they said loving words that filled me with joy and happiness. Sometimes, though, memories of that other place invade my mind. They take over and flood it with pictures of that dark machine and the frozen statues, with pictures of the black sun and the gloomy sky. That horrible place where discarded angels die. Hey everybody, hope you enjoyed today's video. This one was written by Alin Istocescu. Alan's a super talented author. He's someone who I came up with on Reddit No Sleep. He was posting around the same time as I was back maybe 4 or 5 years ago during the pandemic on Reddit No Sleep. So definitely consider him one of my peers and super talented writer who also a moderator of Cryptic Compendium, and someone I chatted with on Discord quite a bit over the years. So a good friend and also a super talented writer. He's the one who wrote, if anybody remembers, Fluffy, the pet demon story on the channel, as well as a bunch of other ones. Dr. Creepin, his number one story, with a couple million views, I think, is one that was written by Alin. The Freemason story over there. So very talented writer, very popular writer on Reddit as well as on YouTube. Alin has a book coming out, which is currently available for pre-order. I'm going to share the information in the description below. The book is called Midnight Mysteries, and it's a suspense thriller with supernatural horror elements. Kind of think of it as Mindhunter meets Longlegs. It's available right now for pre-order on inkshares.com, which site I'm not too familiar with, but it looks like you can do physical book pre-orders there, so it might be something I have to look into for the next Hollows End book. His goal right now is to get 750 pre-orders, so hopefully we can help him get along on that journey. I'll be pre-ordering my copy as well. If you're able to, I'm sure he would hugely appreciate the support. Also, for anybody who missed the announcements last week, the Hollows End book is officially out now. The first Hollows End book is available now in ebook, paperback, and hardcover. I'll include links in the description below for that, for Welcome to Hollows End. And thanks to you guys, we're actually number one right now on the collections and anthologies new releases list on Amazon. So I just want to give a huge thank you to all of you guys who have ordered the book and who pre-ordered Kindle copies, and everybody for your support. I'm really amazed at how well the book is doing, and I'm looking forward to hearing everybody's thoughts on it. And as always, if you can leave an impartial review on Amazon, it really does help out quite a bit. That's about it for today on the channel. I'll have another story coming this Wednesday. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday on the channel, we'll have a new story. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday, and hope you have a good rest of your day.